World of Warcraft is and remains the gold standard. In March, the new expansion Midnight will be released, bringing fresh zones, new story content, dungeons, and raids. Story-wise, the conflict against Xal'atath and the Void continues, and the roadmap already gives a glimpse into the future, including patch 12.1 planned for autumn, which will add another zone and a new raid. So there's no shortage of content in World of Warcraft. On top of that, the game is incredibly broad in scope. Multiple classic servers, hardcore servers, remix, events like Plunderstorm, and the likely upcoming Classic Plus, which is expected to be revealed at BlizzCon. Few games in the genre offer this much variety at such a consistently high level of quality. Of course, World of Warcraft isn't for everyone. If you're looking for an action combat system, you won't find it here. World of Warcraft uses tab target combat, meaning you select enemies and your abilities hit automatically. You won't find flashy dodge rolls or active blocking here. You also have to like the world and the stylized graphics. Another potential downside is the monthly subscription fee of around $12. In second place, you have Guild Wars 2. Not necessarily in terms of player numbers, but definitely in terms of quality and fun. This shines with its combat system and its strong focus on cooperative, open-world gameplay. In hardly any other game do you fight alongside dozens of other players so often against bosses or participate in massive world events. The zone design is one of ArenaNet's biggest strengths. In every area you can discover jumping puzzles, hidden achievements, scenic viewpoints, or elite and champion enemies that are difficult or impossible to defeat alone. Fortunately, the community is very helpful, and cooperation is actively rewarded. Guild Wars 2 also uses tab targeting, but includes a dodge roll. Most abilities can be used while moving, and melee attacks require you to actually be close to enemies. It's a hybrid combat system that many players enjoy a lot. The mounts are also outstanding, each with unique abilities. The Raptor jumps far, the Springer jumps high, and the Skyscale can fly. The latest expansion, Visions of Eternity, released at the end of October and is the best one in the past 4 years, featuring great zones, new elite specializations, and a nicely told story. Currently, a new expansion is released every year, accompanied by 3 quarterly updates that add story content, new zones, raids, and quality of life improvements. One controversial aspect is character progression. The max level has never been increased since release, and there hasn't been a new gear tier since 2012. You reach max level and max gear fairly quickly and never become outdated. Instead, progression is horizontal: new builds, masteries, or cosmetic skins. That's why the game is often affectionately called Fashion Wars 2. Fans love this approach because it doesn't force endless grinding, and you can take long breaks without falling behind. Critics, however, miss clear goals and motivation. Another downside is the cost. While the base game is free, you'll need 6 expansions to access everything. In third place is Old School Runescape. Released in 2013, it's essentially a classic version of RuneScape set around 2008, before a major graphics overhaul. The goal was to bring back old fans who were unhappy with the modern version, and it worked. In August 2025, over 240,000 players logged in simultaneously, compared to only about 30,000 for modern RuneScape. That was not only the highest player count RuneScape has ever seen, but also briefly placed it among the top 3 largest Western MMO. With 23 different skills, the game ensures that you always have something to do and can make progress even with limited time investment. There are no time gates and no microtransactions, which is highly appreciated by the community. Nostalgia plays a big role here, and if you're looking for modern action combat or extensive quality of life features, this is not the game for you. The developers work closely with the community, and new content is only added if it passes player polls. Recently, this included the new sailing skill released in November 2025. Old School RuneScape is also playable on mobile devices. You can try it for free, but a €9.99 monthly subscription is required for full access. Albion Online is a sandbox, heavily focused on PvP, and is also playable on smartphones. There are no fixed classes. You build your character through gear, which you can craft or buy. Progression revolves around improving equipment tiers and skills via the Destiny board. PvP varies by zone. None in blue zones, full loot in red and black zones where death means losing your gear. While this sounds harsh, many players treat equipment as consumable items. The game offers dungeons, massive player versus player battles, arenas, housing, and a strong sandbox feel. The introduction of the journal last year significantly improved onboarding. Albion Online has between 100,000 and 300,000 daily players, and is one of the few successful crowdfunded MMOs. It's free to play with an optional subscription and cosmetic shop, though some pay-to-win elements exist, but skill still matters most. Final Fantasy XIV has been somewhat disappointing recently. While it still offers a high-quality story and regular updates, Dawntrail showed a noticeable drop in quality compared to Shadowbringers and Endwalker. Still, it remains one of the best MMO available. The entry is slow, but once you get past the base game and first expansion, both playable for free, the story becomes gripping and emotional. It's one of the genre's narrative highlights. You can level all jobs on a single character, enjoy challenging dungeons and raids, and engage in housing and countless side activities. A major overhaul focusing on onboarding and respecting player time has been announced, likely coming with the next expansion in late 2026 or early 2027. Update 7.5 will add the Beastmaster job, new story content, and possibly a new Savage raid. After the free trial, a subscription and the latest expansion are required, similar to the business model in World of Warcraft. First of all, we have the Elder Scrolls Online, which will have to prove in 2026 whether its new seasonal system is actually any good or not, and whether the difficulty levels in the open world really turn out as good as one might imagine. If so, it could definitely become exciting again, especially since many good changes for newcomers are planned, such as quality of life improvements or solo dungeons. If not, then 2026 will probably once again be more of a transitional year, even though that term has already been used plenty over the past 12 months. For single-player and Elder Scrolls fans, however, the game remains a must-play. A must for PvP and action fans, on the other hand, continues to be Black Desert. The Korean MMO only just received a new class in December, and was expanded in summer with new castles, whose thrones can be conquered through one-on-one duels. Edenia has also made several useful additions beyond that, and even though the game is extremely grind-heavy, even though it has some negative points such as too many flashing elements, cluttered inventories, and open PvP, I can still recommend the game if you can look past those things. If you're not into PvP but prefer challenging PvE content, then you should try Lost Ark. This game focuses on difficult raids and action-packed combat and has significantly reduced the grind in the past. Where you previously had to run many alternate characters to funnel extra gold into your main character, many daily tasks have now been removed. Thanks to further adjustments and regular events, you now reach the endgame much faster. There, you can face group instances that will, in the future, even be offered in 3 difficulty levels, and are among the hardest the genre has to offer. Lost Ark is free to play and offers a shop as well as an optional subscription. For Throne and Liberty, 2026 starts off quite action-packed with the new Tower of Greed, which is set to release in January. It offers a total of 50 floors of challenges that can be completed either solo or in groups. In addition, 2 more dungeons and PvP adjustments are planned with a major patch in March. An expansion with a new zone and a new max level is also planned for the rest of the year. With just over 10,000 players at peak on Steam, it is no longer nearly as busy as it was at launch. However, the numbers are relatively stable,